Okay, I'm gonna unmute, okay? Well, hello. Welcome to our very first Facebook live stream event. I am so excited to have every one of you here on this live stream with us. My name is Widley Lutema, and I am the founder of 4-better.com under 4Better Media Group LLC. Today, we have an excited live stream event for you today. We are currently streaming through Facebook, Twitter, and our newly YouTube account. We do encourage you to follow us because we have way much more things coming up for you. With that being said, I am not going to be the only one on this live stream today. We have two special guests who are going to come and join me in this live stream as we discuss the truths and realities when it comes to creating, building, or even growing a business in Haiti. I am going to bring in Chris with me. We have Christopher Shanti, who is going on this live stream. Hello, Chris.
Hey, how you guys doing? How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you so much for joining in.
No
I am
problem.
waiting for our other special guest who is probably going to join us later, but it's truly a privilege to have you here today.
No
We
problem.
are going to dive into some serious questions because I have them, and I'm sure that other people have the same questions that I do. But before we even get started, please introduce yourself to our viewers so we can get into the nitty-gritty of the reason for this live stream event.
See Genty back at it again. For those who don't, for those who know me, it's good to see you guys again. Good to have you watching me in a different medium from what I usually do. For those who don't know me, it's YouTube C Genty, Facebook C Genty, Instagram C Genty, where I use technology to share the reality, the actual reality of things, not the reality that they feed you. Because Haiti, as with so much of everything, it's much more nuanced. There's much more, more layers than the very simple narrative of poverty and despair and violence and just nonsense that you're given. I've been in the country for 3 years now. When I say I'm in the country, I'm in Haiti speaking to you. I moved a few years ago, and it's been exactly what I've hoped it to be in terms of being connected with my roots, being here, progressing, providing jobs, and really feeling I'm a part of the change and driving an improvement in the ecosystem. At the same time, it's been an incredible challenge. I don't hide that for anyone, but certainly I need folks to know that, you know, Haiti is it's much more than what you're told. And the only way Haiti changes is when we recognize it's not just a simple narrative. And so I'm glad that you invited me to this with Lean. There's a lot I look forward to sharing with the audience because at the end of the day, you know, there's no country in the world that's ever become a first world country through commerce. It's only through business.
Yeah.
Well, I say commerce through charity. Mm-hmm. No country has ever been first world through charity, and only through commerce and enterprise. And so I'm glad to be talking to you about it.
That's excellent. Thank you so much. Now, if you have just joined this live stream event, it would be nice if you could tell us where you are watching us today, whether you are in the US, in Haiti. Tell us which city or which country are you currently repping? All right, we are going to wait for Sandra. She probably just trying to. Hopefully, it's not some technical issues that she's having. But thank you so much, Chris, for joining us today. Truly, I've been following you on social media for some time. We even had an interview for you on 4-better.com. So thank you so much for joining it. Uh, it's important that you just mentioned that it has been a lot of challenging times, and you've gone through a lot of difficulties. But you are happy to joining us today, so you really could tell us the realities. Because what happens is people like me who've been in the U.S. for quite some times, and even some other people who are in other countries, Haitians, of course, we want to go back and be like you. We want to go back and give back, and there's this entrepreneurial wave in Haiti right now. People are getting the knowledge, but the first thing I really want to start talking about is funding, because we are telling people to start doing business. Oh, this is awesome. Let's not even get into the question yet. We have Sandra with us. We are going to have her join in. Add into stream. This is awesome. Hi, Sandra. We have
Hi,
just getting
everyone.
started.
Sorry for the difficulties. I didn't have Chrome. I had to get Chrome. I'm sorry.
That's okay. This is the new era, right? Everything is
Definitely is.
digital.
Hi,
Well,
Mr. Janti. How are you?
Hey, Sandra, what's up? Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
so
Thank you
Chris
so much.
has just introduced himself. If you could just go ahead, Sandra, and just tell us who you are, what you're doing right now. I do know what you're doing, but for the sake of our viewers, tell us where you are and what you've been doing, and of course, your businesses.
Okay. Do we have mostly English speaking people watching us or Creole or c'est
Ah,
anglais la
yes.
parler, ça n'a plus.
We have some people in Haiti. We have in Washington, D.C. as well.
Okay.
So let us try to go back and forth between the two, if we don't mind. I mean, my
Okay.
English, my Creole, okay, mais not entre les deux.
Okay. Bon, I am Sandra Florvella. I am Haitian. I am from Okap. I had the privilege to be born in Haiti and grew up in Haiti until I was 15 years old. Um, After that, I moved to the States with my parents, went to school, attended business administration studied business administration at Lynn University in Boca Raton, Florida. Then I worked in local government for about 12, 13 years. And towards the end of that, part of my job in the office, the public office where I worked, was to have certain contracts and bids to companies locally. And being in South Florida, it was very difficult to find my Haitian people, and they were like good contracts. I'm like, why can't my people don't know about this contract and we can't find them? So I made it a mission of mine to start looking for these for Haitian businesses locally. And from then on, I have so many of them in my network that family, friends, people started to know and ask me a lot about information from these businesses, to the point where I said, okay, let me create a public platform where I can share these informations and connect with more people, and more people can find out about these businesses and not just me or my friends. And so Haitian Businesses was born in March 2014. And we are gratefully still here 6 years later to serve the community. And also within that, my daughter she loves drinking tea. She thought about combining the two names. You know that story very well with Lean. So
Yeah.
we also have a company called IET, which is the word Haiti and the word tea combined together. And we are so very grateful and proud to be able to bring products from Haiti and share them with the international community. So, in a nutshell, this is who I am. I am a mother, daughter. I love, my beloved country. I love my people. Everything I do is to ultimately, to have a better Haiti. In a nutshell, this is who I am.
Thank you so much, Sandra. I do appreciate the fact that you put this time on the side to have this panel with us. It's truly appreciated. And it's always good to speak to people like you who've been
Most
there doing business in the Haiti and also have a platform where we are showcasing all the great stuff that our Haitian business founders are doing worldwide. So that's great. Let's get to it. So, my first question to you guys is going to be about finance, funding. Now, Chris, I know you've been doing businesses in Haiti. You have quite a few things that you have just opened. You have iPro, just forgive me, this is the only one I remember, but I'm certain that you have other things on the way as well.
Yep.
Tell us, how has it been when it comes to funding for your businesses? Do you bootstrap? Do you get support from the Haitian community directly, or do you receive your funding here in the US? How does
No,
that work out for you?
thank you. And Hypro is enough because it's really the parent company. Everything I do ultimately is that is the as Hypro something. It'll be Hypro distribution, Hypro outsourcing. So it's all good. Hypro is the connector, right? So don't worry about that. It's all you need to
Got it.
remember. So when it comes to funding, it's something I've done something that I really want other Haitians to consider doing because the reality is we know that we as a group we come from humble places, all of us. Many of us are first or second generation Haitians, and we don't come from privilege, right? We all of us come from parents who work 9 to 5. Let's be honest, 9 to 9 jobs. What I mean, like 2 double shifts, trying to make it. And a lot of us then we go to college where we become debt strapped because that's just what we have to do, right? And it's no one. Everyone has to be innovative, and that's the trickier part too is because we don't come from wealth. Our network may not necessarily come from wealth, right? And so all that put together means and again, the numbers don't lie. I have an economics background. Numbers don't lie. We as a group, our average medium incomes are on the lower end in America. And so I say all that to say we have to be innovative because the ideal method to do it, and the method that a lot of people like to say is, oh, let's just let's contribute, let's all work together. Realistically, it's a lot more tricky, and realistically, folks who do that, they're much more well off and they have income capacity to break off. So what I advise Haitians to do is what I did, which is I learned to do because when I first moved here, I did it like so many folks envisioned to do it. I quit my job, had my savings, came over here, and I was hustling. And I did that for about a year until I ran into the person who gave me this idea. A good friend of mine's, Junior JB, actually, I did a podcast when I started doing podcasting during the COVID period. It was my first guest, and he broke that down with us. But he was working remote as an instructional design individual in Cap Haitien, though he came to Port-au-Prince, and that's how I networked with him. And that hit me. I was like, wait a minute, because I was at a point where I could have started drawing a salary from my business, but it wasn't necessarily a lot. And on top of that, too, when you're focused so much on chasing pennies, I knew I was missing out on dollars, right? And so when I talked to him and he had this remote job, literally he was working for a company in America while he was in Haiti. Light bulb hit, and I was like, wait a minute, because I came from an IT analytics world, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's more opportunities for that for me than what he does, which is more education, right? And so I started looking, and lo and behold, it took a little bit of while, and I've since fortified myself with some certifications and things that I also advise people to do when looking for remote, because remote can be pretty competitive. Though I think we're moving into a world where it's a little easier. I'll brush on that a little bit, but getting that remote job, making what I used to make in America. Actually, I just lucked out. I was actually making more money than what I was making in America. Living in Haiti, where your expenses and your costs can be so much less, right? Living expenses. The only thing that's kind of a little more in Haiti, actually, when you're living here, can be food expenses. But even that, I've learned to change what I do. Right? And that's just allowed me to cut that expense in half. And so that's how I've been able to fund a lot of my ventures out of my own pocket, because of the massive savings I get versus
I see.
making income in the States. Now, that said, coming the next year, I am going to uh, galvanize and try to create a structure that allows more participation of the my viewers, and a lot of because my viewers are very passionate. They want engaged. I get so many messages every day. Oh, this is Cgenti. I want to participate. I want to come in. I want to do something, right? But how do I do it? Can you advise me? And the thing is, I have a lot of projects I'm working on, and so I'm creating a vehicle that's going to allow folks to work under an umbrella entity, a U.S. entity that's going to do projects, entrepreneurial, actual commerce projects in the country, and that's a way for me, and that's a model I hope to really master, so that I can instruct and show others to do it, because we need success in that question of how to raise finances, because there is going to be no way for Haiti to move forward, without entrepreneurship. And we always say that, oh yeah, entrepreneurship. But come on, the reality is, to make entrepreneurship work, you need money, right? And so that's really how I've done it, and how I'm looking to do it going forward will be a vehicle that allows folks to funnel what they can to ventures that are going to really make an impact in terms of jobs, in terms of individual bottom lines, but and ultimately, as we multiply this across the country, it's going to be hopefully change Haiti, particularly as it allows the Haitian diaspora to have a channel to finally impact, because we can't impact politically until we can't impact politically lastingly until we impact fundamentally the economic ecosystem of the country. Message.
Yeah, and capital is such an important part when it comes to building the business, create it, and growing it too as well. So we really need to have a defined system. Takubo ici, Takubo ici dans le pays États-Unis, gen an pil grants, gen an pil program, ou genyen takou Visa, ou genyen Mastercard, and actuellement la gen an pil gros compagnie ka bay grants to small businesses. And it's a very difficult and challenging times as well in Haiti. I really think there is a need to have a particular system to really be able to share with the entrepreneurs. Now they get the knowledge, because we have a lot of things going on, guys, in terms of knowledge to provide to those who want to launch a business. Talking about truths and myths, and Sandra, please feel free to stepping on this one. My first truth or myth question is, Lia Creole, sou pral fè yon business en Haïti, ou besoin maman à papa pour capable enregistrer business là. Dis-nous un petit peu sur ça, Sandra, parce que je connais où commencer Haïti, ou commencer Haïti, which is the tea products, en Haïti.
Oui, bon, certainement nous produits nous yo sorti directement d'Haïti, et of course fon te fè liaison hein. I have to say the idea was born in the state parce que it's my daughter who thought of it, et premier pas nous te fait, c'était pour te capable faire un private label ici aux États-Unis, mais le nous fait product tasting, nous est que si on produit pour le porter non pays non Haïti, et nous même si haïtiens faut que produit soit authentique. Donc nous te prend plus temps, nous dépenser plus cob, much more painful, mais nous fait produit sorti directement d'Haïti, et ça nous fier de ça. Et dans le sens pour faire business en Haïti, vraiment, ou besoin parrain, ou besoin marraine, ou besoin grand, ou besoin grand-père, ou besoin grand-mère, and money. Unfortunately, nous pas un système qui est assez smooth to build or create a business. Genre, ces gens qui sont dit tout à l'heure, tout le monde a porté drapeau et tout le monde a, wave the flag of entrepreneurship. But est-ce que façon pour un entrepreneur lever pied en Haïti pour faire une idée, pour faire une idée passer de, pour faire une bail passer de une idée à une bagage tangible, est-ce que nous gagnons méthode, est-ce que nous gagnons et the tools disponibles pour être capable de faire ça? definitely not. Nous gagnons des gens qui gagnent innovative idea tant que ces gens qui travaillent la fait en Haïti qui est absolutely superb. Nous gagnons Banj, nous gagnons Impact Hub, nous gagnons tout espace ça yo, tout monde ça yo qui a mette connaissance yo, qui a mette expérience yo, qui a mette knowledge yo, et qui a mette monde que yo pense qui capable aider jeunes ça yo et contribuer à faire un succès ou à build a business. C'est avec idée ça côté nous toujours arriver dans le même espace côté nous arriver dans le blocage. Yes, mon nan gen idée, moun nan jeune nan vle faire ça, li vle faire this, li vle faire that. Nous arriver dans le même espace côté que moun nan pas ka joindre financing. C'est une raison qui fait l'année dernière, moi, été inspiré ensemble avec Maritza, ensemble avec Angie, pour nous mettre, comme étant donné que c'est le monde qui sorti au cap, nous connaissons, et j'ai dit là, la charité bien ordonnée commence par soi-même. Donc, nous avons fait ça, nous avons commencé ça au Cap haïtien l'année dernière, mais année ça, nous essayons, bon, cœur moi j'ai cassé parce que nous ne pas en Haïti à présent, mais nous avons chance pour nous faire un événement live stream côté que nous mettre non seulement et fonds disponibles pour des jeunes capables de lancer business et faire une semaine de business skill education and then do a business pitch competition côté que yo même yo capable mettre tout ça que yo apprendre dans semaine nan puis yo capable bien former et bien structurer business yo ensemble pour que yo capable commencer un business, capable de dénoncer une expérience qui était si tellement positive l'année dernière, équipe qui te gagne yo tellement mis travail ça en pratique et yo joué un succès et yo même y a opéré très bien à présent. C'est un bagage lundi si Dieu veut, m'espérer que moun k'ap gade là tourner dans Business Forum Haïti pour que nous capable ouais travail qui était fait l'année dernière et qui ça porté année ça. So nous connaît que même senti tant que c'est un petit how do you call the things you put in your finger when you're sewing? You know, the little tiny little
A thimble. A thimble.
The thimble, yes. I feel like I'm feeling a pull with the work that we're doing, but I feel like it's a step forward. And when we do that, we bring people in the community that not only can help these young entrepreneurs learn, and that can obviously in the future maybe finance work with them, and that's actually what we're looking forward to. One of the kids actually we're trying to connect with entrepreneur Johnson Napoleon because he was looking for someone who can make I think farine ensemble avec un produit bien spécial et nous te gagné ça année passée. So, vraiment, c'est une opportunité qui est très, très, très positive et nous souhaitons continuer ça et agrandir, élargir pour que plus de jeunes capables de bénéficier et participer dans ce type d'événement.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And we're looking forward as well to work with you on that. And hopefully next year it could be bigger, because that's what we're trying to do, to expand and also collaborate. And in the spirit of collaboration and resources, as the past few weeks, it has been very difficult in Haiti in terms of electricity. Public things and public goods are really a problem. And of course, I'm all the way here in the US. This is what I heard, but we are discussing the reality and what is not a reality in Haiti. How do you guys manage when it comes to extending your business using the public resources that are currently in Haiti, or do you have the available resources that you need? As we know that we lack of infrastructure, electricity, and road. What kind of roadblocks do you get when it comes to those public needs and resources not available for you? Chris, tell us a little bit how you manage that.
So the reality is it depends on your entry point. That's one reason why I always advise people when they're trying to come to Haiti and do things. They really take their time. They really use patience as their guide and not passion, right? The other P, because the challenges of Haiti are numerous, and you really want to be able to network and find people that potentially have things that will assist you in starting your business at the optimal cost, right? Because if you just came in, didn't have any real relationships, and you just say, Vamos ver business, oui, qu'est-ce qui got, bon, on chemin au dé. Guess what? People are gonna eye you like a wolf, just a pig who just entered a wolf den, right? And you know, the markup and the charge ups are going to be extremely high, right? Versus if you take your time over a year to years with the S, those relationships that you build will allow you to get things at the discount or even better, the Haitian price, not the Jasper price, not the outside price, right? And I preface all this because, which is really important. I preface it because the alternative, right, to networking and finding a facility that's going to be able to fit your specific business need is to move into one and rehab it and renovate it and put that infrastructure. And to be honest, if not your first business, your second business, you're probably going to have to do that either way, because no matter what you move into, maybe personally for where you live, or for your venture, you're going to have to, in effect, build your own infrastructure, right? For example, here in my office, I'm talking to you right now. We haven't had power in over a week here in the neighborhood that I live in, but I'm talking to you, right? Why? I have 8 solar panels. I have 12 batteries, right? I have 2 backup generators in case whatever, crap hits the fan. I'll be able to grab my generators, right? And let that run, right? Guess what? That came at a cost, right? That came at a pretty high cost, in fact, to get all that set up. Now, furthermore, if I were to build my own building, I was able to rent this building at the Haitian price, right? Because of relationships I was able to build in the times I'm coming back and forth. Then there's even more infrastructure in terms of, for example, Haiti's the largest, Port-au-Prince is the largest city in the world, that there is central sewage. What does that mean? I mean, you have to dig a hole for your sewage, right? And then I think you build another hole on the property, right? For water, right? That you're going to use, because Cameo is going to come and pour water, and then you're going to pump it up, into a shadow door, as they call it. It comes down. That's how you're able to wash your hands and have a feeling as if you're getting, water from the city. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some places more and more that's happening, but the vast majority of water, in terms of water from the city now, the vast 90% of the city is still very much you have to have your own water. Now, I share all that because again, I never hide anything. Folks will never excuse me if they really know me of painting a picturesque picture of Haiti. I want to give folks the reality. But once you're established, okay, and there's a slightly higher upfront cost, then I can tell you you're in it to win it, because no matter what you're doing in the community, Haiti is a small town. I really say that. Haiti, not just the city of Port-au-Prince. Haiti is a small town. If you do a good job in whatever you're doing, you're going to always have business. You're always going to get references. You're always going to be in a position to grow. Now, Haiti may not make it easy because there'll be periods where between pays law, between other crises that are always branched and connect to politics, that there's going to be a low in your business, which is why you never want to just, if you have a good month, go out and spend, I'm partying, always put aside for that, for that inevitable, you know the word I'm trying to say here.
Inevitable.
Exactly that comes when times are rough, so you can weather it, because the moment that weather is gone, it's like a hurricane. When hurricanes around, like, oh my guys, we're in the world, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But the moment the hurricane comes, it's just sunny and clouds and beauty, and most importantly, it's money rushing to you to purchase whatever it is that you offer in the market, right? And so that's what I tell folks. Just be aware you're going to have to bring and set up your own facilities to function, most likely, unless you're fortunate enough to network and find a place that already has those facilities pre-installed. But that's just the reality. The reality of Haiti is you're going to have solar panels, you're going to have generators, but just know that there's still money to be had once you're established.
So you need a lot of money to establish down there. Oh, this is probably a mess.
It depends. It depends.
Reality.
It depends what you're trying to do. It really is. It depends what you're trying to do, and that's one reason why I'm coming out with a book, 101 Ways to Make Money in Haiti. In fact, I'm very far along.
I'm looking forward to that.
And I've been talking about it for a while, but I can tell you we're very far along. In fact, I'm at a point right now where I'm doing a second pass. The books, quote unquote, written, doing a second pass, adding content to it, And then I'm actually right now, I'm in talks getting my book cover ready. I'm in talks trying to line up some proofreaders and some grammar checks. So we're moving along. So certainly I'm on the timeline where at the end of the year is going to be out. And what the point of that book is, it's really to talk about these very same questions that you have, right? And do it in a much more succinct way, because I don't want to dominate the time. Sandra's too much of a business maven for me to dominate this time. I need her to go ahead and add her sense. But I certainly want to space that book to be that space to allow folks to really go in deep detail, because you don't necessarily need a lot of money, right? You can do things in a way where you build, you make initial small little piece, and you add to it until it's fully structured.
And what are your thoughts in that same subject, Sandra? Because I know that you, with IT, you do need the resources. You ou besoin courant, right? Ou besoin wood. And we had during COVID, there was I wouldn't say a lack, but there was a decrease in the products that were entering the US. How did you navigate because of the infrastructure in Haiti is not there yet?
Big sigh. It's a labor of love.
Mhm.
Whatever you set your mind to do out in Haiti, it has to be first a labor of love. If the goal is just money, if the goal is just to get your word out there, I would say it is not worth it. But once you know it's a labor of love and the sacrifices that we make, we keep farmers, we keep people in the labs who, put our products in the little tea bags together. We keep those people, with something to do. It makes it all worth it. Um, but I would have to say within the last year, products from our distributor in Haiti has gone up a good 30% at least, yeah, which is a lot. And when COVID hit, twice we we paid obviously much more than we were paying for shipment before, because the airport was literally closed. We ended up having to put our products on a private plane to come here in the States. So again, it's a labor of love. If you know you're not going to make the sacrifices, if you're not ready to, have the loss, it's like one of those things when we're not do for better or for worse. It's kind of the same thing. Lola, que le bon, que le pas bon. If your goal is to, si ça va faire vraiment, c'est pas un bail qui a sorti dans le cœur, you will give up. And te gen raison pour te stop ou te give up ou te dire, oh, we're out of stock, non fini, non camper là. Mais um, the 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 ability to keep others at work. I will make any sacrifice possible on my end. I'm willing to make to be able to help these other people that we keep at work together with us with the brand.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that everything you do must be a labor of love. And as entrepreneurs, the first thing in your list shouldn't be, I am going to build this business to make money. You want to build a business to make money, but that shouldn't be on the very first thing on your list, because
Definitely.
you want to build something with a passion. And along those lines, once you establish yourself, everything is set up, and then you can start about the money piece of it, because it takes time, it takes gut, sorry. En Haïti surtout, pour faire un business, au besoin d'argent. And Chris just dit nous que au besoin faire propre infrastructure par où, you probably have to build everything that you need. And of course, if you don't know the people down there to help you build that business, you really need to have everything down before you can start seeing those dollars coming in. I remember having an interview with a very prolific business owner in Haiti, and she was telling me that I think she spent about $20,000 to $30,000 before she starts seeing increase in her return of investment, because it was just
Mm.
taking a lot of time and money and resources to build the business. Now, collaboration could help in that aspect, right? Because here you have those There's you have group of people who come together and form these investment companies, investment groups. What do you guys think when it comes to collaboration in Haiti? Whether it's business owners in Haiti or people with money coming together to help those who need to build businesses or grow their businesses. I know here we already have that. But when it comes to collaboration in Haiti for investment, do you guys believe that there are any or there are, but we don't know about it? Tell us a little bit or give us your thoughts on that.
Sandra, you want to grab that?
Um, Overall, I would say, from personal experience, I feel that we're not quite there, and
Mhm.
we're not quite there when it comes to do the collaboration. However, it's something that is very much needed. We do, however, that's something. For example, we have the Small Business Administration that provides a lot of grants, that provide a lot of opportunities for someone to take off on their own. But when it comes to other who are in the business, or someone who financially can support, that can invest in another business and or an idea, or just to be just in like an angel investor into another business, where is that pool? Where is the pool? Where is that information together, that we have this pool of people that can go ahead and do that from the private sector? That's the that's one of the ideology behind what we are doing with the Business Forum Haiti, is to be able to bring the people who are interested in investing in the young people in Haiti. Let me tell you, we had the young folks who came up with so many great ideas with their competition, with the business pitch competition, but unfortunately we could only pick three. My heart broke because I felt like I couldn't provide these things to them. But what we did is to continue to share. This is the business presentation. This is what they have. We share that with our network. Some of them were able to collaborate with other people. Some of them were able to connect and got business funding from other places. So this is the whole concept behind what we're doing, is to push, is to bring the right people together in one place in order for us to be able to move forward in that sense.
Thank you so much. Thank you for letting us know. We're moving along with time as well. I do want to remind everyone, if they have any questions, they can start dropping that on the comment section. Now, my question for you, I personally want to start establishing more in the country, mais nous avons problème sécurité actuellement là. Sécurité, problème sécurité, elle commence en bon petit temps, oui, mais selon ça, me living mal. And it's not just me. I believe that there are many other people who are afraid of going there first, afraid of building things there. Although we are in a virtual world, there are certain type of products that you want to build, that you want to, or business that you want to have. It requires a physical location, right? Um, and nous toujours gen bagay sa des fois, le gon business Haiti et puis gen manifestation, you mette defensively or they vandalize it or anything else. When it comes to that type of fear that myself and some other business owners or entrepreneurs have, because there are so many entrepreneurs here who can extend their businesses down there as well. Yeah, they're doing really good here. They could extend in the international market, particularly in Haiti, their homeland. What kind of advice would you tell them or would you give them when it comes to what they are hearing and the reality of what's happening down there? I'll start with Chris on that one.
Sure, sure. It's a very um, convoluted question, idea, really, to unpack. I'll be honest with you, because the reality is that you know everywhere on the planet, there's human beings. Human beings. If there's three human beings in a room, one human being will say, I'm the upper class." The one in the middle will say, "Well, I'm not that guy," and the guy who's left out. Like, wait a minute. So I'm the one in the bottom. Oh, I'm furious. I'm gonna burn everything down, right? And the reality is that when you come to Haiti as a diaspora, particularly as someone who um, will be of means vis-a-vis relative to the Haitian person who's already there, you're already in a privileged position. When it comes to security, there's ways you move around in a country. I mean, I don't know anyone who knows Chicago, right, who's gonna go to Englewood and think they're going to have a wonderful time. Right? I don't know anyone who knows Miami who thinks they're gonna go to Liberty City at 4 in the morning, right, and think they're gonna have a good time, right? And the same thing goes with Haiti. There are certain places you don't go. So at certain times you don't go, but otherwise you're gonna be fine, right? And so that's the core of my response to anyone as relates to security. That's where the complexity becomes in, because if you follow what I advise you to do, which is to take your time and to build out a network, you will build a social safety net for yourself that keeps you away from elements that will ultimately do you wrong in your business. And in particular, if you open the right sort of business, the business the country needs, that will also reduce the capacity of a lot of these horror stories that you hear happen. If you come in and you think you're going to open up a rice importation business, right? Guess what? You're not going to have a good time. I'm sorry. If you think you're going to come in and you're going to open up a grocery store across from a very large grocery store that's established, I'm sorry, you're not going to have a good time, right? But instead, if you open up the business, what Haiti needs, which is a business looking internationally and looking that you grab the products here and you bring them abroad, there is nobody who's going to give you a hard time, right? Because the market's too large. Anyone who's already in that business, they're too busy making money to worry about whatever you're doing, number one. Number two, the market's so large, right? There's just too much of an international market for a little person to be worried about little zing. Instead, if you're domestic facing, tema plat la piti, nèg yo ap gade chaque ti zing de diri qui sous plat yo, parce que yo connaît que sous vini sous plat yo, sous table là, ou essayer manger ou après tirer dans bouche yo, après tirer dans famille yo, dans capacité pour supporter famille yo. You got to méchanceté. So that's the reality. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's the reality, right? So the combination of the two things of when it comes to doing business, your network, you open a business that really should be opening. There's just I don't know. There's a very small percentage of millionaires I know, genuinely well-off people in Haiti, that are doing business domestic facing. The folks I've had the opportunity to network and who are doing exceptionally well, they're the ones who have a foothold in something where they're producing a good amount of it, externally, right? So that's really the way I'd respond to that security question, which is personally, there's you're going to be fine, but when it comes to your business network, take it slow, make the right move in terms of location, in terms of who you have in your circle, because most of the time it's that circle that you have that does you wrong, right? Take your time, build that circle out to be strong, and I promise you, you're gonna be fine, right? The what you hear, it's comes from a level of folks who they just to say it bluntly, when you're in the business class, you're in Haiti, you are in a privileged class. And what happens to, unfortunately, many Haitians, it's not right that it happens to them. But what happens to so many Haitians won't happen to you, especially if you yourself aren't in a lot of desordre and missions. You're moving, you're doing the right things. I promise you, it's almost fatiguing to say this. You're gonna be fine.
So they have to sit there, right?
I totally second you on that, Chris. When it comes to the insecurity, mais qui ça pour moun songe, en pile fois nouvelle k'ap sorti, c'est pas que yo pas réel. OK? Yo, nouvelle yo a passé vraiment, gagné insécurité, nous pas dit que ça pas existé. Mais nous, Port-au-Prince, pas Haïti. Jean, c'est gentil à me dire tout, Haïti sont petit côté qui tout petit. Tout petit. Cela veut dire que compétition hein, réelle. I had a friend of mine who his uncle was president at the time, and he was trying to start a rice business, importing rice into Haiti. His uncle, the president at the time, was like, "Son, that's not for you. You already know that's not. There's already, someone who covers that end. We can have 3, 2, 4 more coming into that business." So when it comes to insecurity in Haiti, again, Port-au-Prince, pas Haïti. En pile fois, nouvelle a passé dans une zone dans Port-au-Prince, c'est pas même tout Port-au-Prince, nous pas même qu'à dire c'est tout Port-au-Prince des fois. On nouvelle a passé dans zone Port-au-Prince et puis ça a tellement fait bruit internationally que nous pensons que c'est pays qui up in flame. Tandis que des fois, il y a un monde qui la boule, pas même temps de ça qui a passé en bas. Tellement, c'est deux différents mondes, activité normale, toute boutique, tout le monde a fonctionné, l'école, et puis, mais gon quartier, peut-être dans zone Chanmas, dans zone côté parler là, en bas la ville, quelque chose a passé, mais aussitôt que ça tombe dans des réseaux, moun yo fait et nouvelle la passer malement des fois, et puis nous gon a perception of what is already happening down there. Parce que ça arrive, quoi, et Christian doit testify to that. Moun perhaps qui pas jamais visité Haïti ou fait expérience Haïti, aussitôt que fait expérience avec Haïti, c'est un bagage totalement différent. Moun a complètement changé d'avis, moun a complètement changé idéologie qui j'ai été pensé de pays. Ça qui vient arriver, c'est un manque d'éducation. Nous pas gagné moun qui fait pour nous, nous pas gagné moun qui parler de nous bien. Et c'est là job nous en tant que haïtiens, chaque haïtien nous c'est ambassadeur pour nous capable représenter pays nous dans n'importe niveau, dans n'importe ça n'a fait, nous devons être nous comme ambassadeur qui doit représenter pays nous et représenter pays nous bien. Exemple, nous gagnons hier il y a un Kanye qui descend en Haïti, il y a un monde malheureusement agent immigration poster photo avec passeport quand il est tout ouvert avec toute information. Ça qui est terrible. Mais il y a l'autre monde qui a parlé de ça, qui a dit qui gens ça pas bon pour nous faire, OK? Poster même photo avec même information. Au moins bloquer information sensitive là parce que c'est ça nous qui pas doué dehors, mais ou pas cap dire moun nan mal fait et puis ou même c'est même image là utiliser pour dire que moun nan mal fait parce que on y a là ou mettre abissé sous clou. C'est dans même concept ça nous when it comes to et ça nous qu'a fait de positif nous fait ça nous qu'a éviter parce que c'est gentil I call you c'est gentil because that's the Instagram name but Chris
that's fine, either one's fine.
Ou capable tester là qui gens on va être capable de bloc dans PowerPoint quelque part et puis the headline is Haiti tandis que Cap is fine pour le père bel côté is fine ou il a vache bel côté et puis il a gaspillé malheureusement côté ça il pas bénéficié de beauté que il de toute belle bagarre qui gagne en Haïti qui a justement rapporté qui a créé plus business et qui a créé plus d'opportunités pour tout le monde dans le pays.
Right, absolutely right.
Thank you so much, Sandra. This is very important. And I'm glad that you mentioned that Port-au-Prince Haiti, because a lot of times those challenges, they really are in Haiti. All these crazy things going on, they really are in Haiti. They really are in Port-au-Prince. Mais respect, il était vierge. And I'm glad that...
Let me jump in and share something. When I go out to anywhere, specifically Ocap, that's a little bit of a rivalry. I'm in Ocap, and I said, oh, I live in Port-au-Prince. Oh, who's on the Pays Shore? Because they call it Port-au-Prince. It's the hot country, Yes.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much. We're going to get into some questions here that we have before we wrap up. We have, let me see. We have Alicia Jean Patricia. Lui poser une question sur transparency. She asked a question in regards to transparency and procedures. How do you plan to How do you plan when rule of law is absent? The law can say something today and something else tomorrow. What are your tricks for someone who doesn't have their auntie or cousin pour gérer ça pour you en Haiti? I
So,
guess she's trying to ask in regards to the legal system.
so there's certain things you need to open up a bank account. Can't get around that. You know, whatever you're hearing, right? You need certain documents, right? You have to follow a particular process for those documents. Particularly if you open up SA, you're gonna need an attorney, right? To help you, you know, set up. And there's things that the attorney's gonna do, and there's no hiding or going around that. That's number one. Number two, certain things you're gonna need, you know, every year in terms of certificate d'impôt and proving that you paid your taxes. You can't get around. You know, when I hear that, I always I don't know what that means, right? I know you know the biggest, you know, shady or unstable part of doing anything in Haiti is real estate. And when you hear rule of law, it certainly does apply to real estate because of just the massive need for land reform in the country, and how even if you do have good papers, you know, there's still a dozen different ways for you to have your property threatened. And that's why I always, you know, the easiest way to be ignored in my DMs is to come just being someone who's totally naive about the country. Hey man, I want to buy some real estate. Nah, man, it doesn't work like that. You know, real estate is one of the most risky things you can do, even when you do it right. But I don't buy that you know, there is a rule of law issue. There's processes that exist. You're going to follow those processes. You know, the following processes may not be as simple as just walking into a bureau and paying a fee and walking out. That's a reality. Unfortunately, you have to do things a lot more slowly, a lot more cautiously, particularly as Americans. You have to be careful not to dabble in those sort of activities. But just got to do a little slower, a little more carefully, preferably with an attorney, right? But I don't buy that. You know, that alludes to a degree of chaos and non-existence of infrastructure. That's not true. You know, try to come here and try to do things, quote unquote, without following particular regulations. You'll see how quickly your business is shut down. You see how quickly you're out of business, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. And thanks for sharing the tips with us, Chris. Somebody else has asked for shipping fees, tips on shipping fees. What do you think, Sandra?
Shipping fees, unfortunately, it's not something you can control. You have to be reliable on the companies who provide the shipping services. C'est pas tant qu'on fait on famille mettre ça dans mallette pour porter. There's a volume of de comprendre moi ou pas ka gérer porter mon a porter ti bay pour une mallette ou sinon même traveling to Haiti yourself to pick it up. You unfortunately have to be reliable on the companies who provides the shipping services.
And the shipping cost a lot, or is it a moderate when it comes to shipping products directly?
I would say right now it's getting better because we have. I think like there's a competitive aspect into it. We're seeing so many. We're seeing not so many. We're seeing several companies coming into the shipping business, and they are formalizing it. They are putting more professional structures into it. Therefore, they are offering competitive rates. So, you know,
Mm.
this person will say, oh, well, I contacted this company, they were going to do this. And then the other is like, okay, you know, they will work with you and stuff like that. So I've had that personally, I've had experience that. So I feel like that is a great way to open up and to have better services. Parce que if you're just the reigning king in shipping, ou chercher sauver ou faire sauver les gens, le vle, mais si gagne 3-4 l'autre compagnie qui bail service là, et peut-être capable améliorer service, I guess what? Option pour me quitter travailler ensemble avec vous and go with the company that best suits me. So it's very good to see that they are offering better services and better rates lately.
That's great. Very important. Thank you so much. I don't believe we have any more questions. There are three things we really speak about throughout this live stream event. We talked about how it's important to build your own infrastructure as you move down there. Yes, we have some public goods and resources available, but do think about what are you going to need in order to create your business and even grow that business. And that's not just for people who want to go to Haiti, but also for people who are currently on the ground. We talk about some of the resources currently available. We have a lot of not a lot, some collaborations with between some type of entrepreneurial hubs and centers. Gen pil nan sa sa nou gen Banj, nou gen Impact Hub, epi tou gen lot, mbap di business, men gen lot group kap mette ansam knowledge based information pou moun ki ta reme grandi business yo. We talked about how important it is for collaboration especially when it comes to investment. Poske pa vreman genye yon sistem ou ka ale pou al chèche funding. Um, Men it is vraiment important pour nous penser sur ça too. And the last item we spoke about is how to branch out. It's not just in Port-au-Prince where you can have businesses. And we're not just talking about people on the ground. We also encourage people who are here when they're talking about going to Haiti, the things that they're hearing about Haiti and security and all that. Pensez avec l'autre video too. I know you, Sandra, you're very focused on Cap Haïtien. Ta ville natale. Nou gen Chris who's just literally going around the entire Haiti. Going throughout many places in Haiti. And I encourage everyone who's watching today, you can follow us for-better.com on several of these social media platforms. Do go to our website as well, and definitely follow Chris because he's all over the place showing us that Haiti is not just Port-au-Prince, y'all. What you hear on the news and what you see on Facebook, we have got to do a better job in terms of promoting other places, and definitely follow Sandra as well. I'm going to give you guys a chance to share a last word with our viewer and anything else that you believe that was not covered on this session. And of course, there are way many topics, a lot of topics that we could cover, but 1 hour is just not a lot of time. And we will probably speak for the entire year. We can never cover everything, but that's just a little bit of it. So, Sandra, tell us, give us your advice, a last word to our viewers today.
Well, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but if you plan not to do something, make sure that it is a labor of love because you do need that passion, you do need that motivation. Sometimes you're not gonna find it from the people you expect. You're not going to find it from the places you expect. So you have to have that burning fire inside of you in order to set yourself out to do what you want to do and know why you started from day 1 to day 2000. Be as focused as you were on day 2000 as you were on day 1. So if you guys have any questions, Sandra Flovela, I'm not sure if my name is on the screen. Say Sandra Flovela, you guys can reach out to me, reach out to us on either on Haitian Businesses platform or reach out to me personally. So I'll be more than happy to answer any more questions. And thank you so much for having me here today. It was a very, very, very great pleasure to be here to talk to you, Chris, and of course with the audience who's watching us today. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Thank you so much, Sandra. And Chris.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure. I was very happy to be here to share the screen with Sandra, somebody who's been doing it for an unofficial mentor of mine. Sandra doesn't even know. So I appreciate sharing the time and conversating with her and sharing so much to the audience. As a final message, I want to share with the audience. First and foremost, I'll be frank, business isn't for everyone, right? Sometimes I wake up, I wonder if it's for me. Right? Because it's very tricky. It's very it can be very much a test charge every other week. It's something else you're trying to defeat in front of you here. And by the way, as I'm talking, I'm seeing put C Genty up there for me with me, if you don't mind. C Genty, that's what for folks can easily find me on all my platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. SEE Genty, one word. I guess you're seeing me. But the message really is business isn't necessarily for everybody, but you can still impart and you can still be part of the change for Haiti by simply coming to Haiti, by simply buying made in Haiti products. Instead of buying what is it? What's it, Wilfords or Wilsons in your cup and whatever, Dunkin' Donuts brand or Starbucks brand, right? You can go on Amazon and there's a Singing Rooster that comes from Haiti. There is Rebo coffee you can actually buy on Amazon, right? There's always go out your way, inconvenience yourself. That's the biggest thing I advise you. Inconvenience yourself for yourself, for your country, because I can tell you, the Jewish people, they make sure they support their own, no matter what the inconvenience is. The Indians, the Chinese, the Nigerians. I mean, you name it. Every single group on the planet will inconvenience themselves because they know the slight inconvenience now is what their group needs to be successful so their kids can plug into an infrastructure and be successful, and their countries can have the capacity to grow and have a chance. And so that's really the number one thing I tell folks more than anything. And secondly, when it does come to business, take your time. The opportunity. Haiti is a place where there's such a massive demand for everything. That demand is going to be here today, as it is tomorrow, as it is next year, as it is in 5 years. That's just a frank reality. And so what you need to do is you need to take that time to build the business right. Connect, network, get it on paper, save your money, and do it as efficiently as to ultimately build the process to do it as efficiently as possible to maximize your chance of success. Because I can tell you, if you really sit down and you find out from all the folks who talk Haiti bad about business environment, as I mentioned, they're either open the wrong business, right, one that's import domestic face, or they open it too much emotion rather than taking a more tactical approach, right? And so that's how I want to leave the audience today. I want to leave the audience just considering, making sure how can you can help Haiti no matter what, just by either visiting or buying made in Haiti products, right? And then when it comes time to do business, I just tell folks just take it slow, take it, be patient, and you'll be all right.
Yes. I don't know if I could say one last plug-in. As Chris was talking, it really came into mind when he was talking about the different communities supporting one another. That's pretty much has been the message behind Haitian businesses all these years, is to support Haitian businesses, support your own, support your community. Because si mwen gen yon ficelle, Chris gen yon ficelle, ou gen yon ficelle, tout moun ki yon ba live la konya la gen yon ficelle. Si nou la gen green ficelle pa nou an la men, nou pa pran aucun poisson. Mais si ensemble nous mettons filet nous ensemble, nous faisons net, le la gueule n'a pas pran poisson, n'a pas joindre. So keep that in mind que ou pas qu'à souhaiter communauté haïtienne fait puis bien, ou pas puis bon service, yo gain plus produit, tandis que à chaque fois que ou gain opportunité supporter un business, ou pas viser supporter un business haïtien. Chercher supporter un business haïtien avant ou al supporter business l'autre côté avant que ou al aider monsieur Amazon là qui déjà un trillionnaire quoi. OK, au lieu de continuer à contribuer et en faire grandir et business et c'est faire communauté parlant grandir et ça in return la PD et la PD pays nous qui c'est Haïti. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks to our viewers, whether you are tuning in the US or if you are tuning in Haiti. We thank you so much for joining us, and special thanks to our speakers. You guys provide some very important insights today. Even myself, I learned a lot. Thank you, Sandra, and thank you, Chris. And Nafkitewa avec Mosa, Pabli, I am going to support Sandra on that one. Support our Haitian businesses. And I am hoping that after today, whatever fear that you have or mindset you had when it comes to doing business in Haiti, You feel better now. You feel more comfortable. You receive some ample information that is going to support you as you create your business in Haiti if you're currently there, or go there and start something new that is going to help you and the country as a whole. And remember, as Chris said, do take your time. Have this. You do know you are going to make money, but first, have the passion first, determination. Plan a lot and do your research. Thank you so much for joining in. Thanks to Sandra and Chris again. I hope to see you guys in the near future.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Thank you, y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.